It's the place to be, you're gonna get to know. Restaurants and movies appear, amusement parks and ocean piers, boardwalk built and loved by family. Atlantic City's face, a changing place, time to lead the way. You want to see the old become the new, remember yesterday. Rolling chairs and trolley cars, Ferris wheels and movie stars, boardwalk built and loved by family. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground. Atlantic City star shines near and far, you can see its glow. You get some sand in your shoes, shells in your hand, it's the place to go. Beauty pageants and parades, cotton candy taffies made, boardwalk built and loved by families. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground.
Hello and welcome to the Postcard Show. Welcome back, as we say, to the continuing Postcard Show. My name is Joseph Polillo. I'm your host. My twin brother, John Polillo, is the co-host. And we're here each Sunday at 2 p.m., same channel, same station. And we're here to flip postcards. First, we want you to move closer to your set and call a friend also. Don't use the remote through this half hour. And what we'd like you to do is to follow the postcards.
Turn on your VCRs and tape it. Send it to your libraries, museums, convalescent homes. Maybe snap people back and give them a memory that they forgot.
We'd like to also add schools and rec centers and any person who may be at home, under home care, has a video set. We have to have these taped and sent to these particular locations for the people's enjoyment. We want to get right into the Postcard Show. We're coming out of the center city, inner city postcards, and our first postcard was the postcard that we closed with last Sunday, and as you can see, it's Lower Chelsea. Chelsea, Lower Chelsea. John, you want to explain what we have there?
Well, we have a shot from like the Ambassador looking towards Albany Avenue, and as you look at it, you can see the Chelsea. You can see the Old English. You can see the, I forget what the name of this particular one was, but the Osden is behind that.
It was the Gottsinger.
The Gottsinger, which became the Crescent, which was Montpelier Avenue.
The Creston.
And as you can see, this is Pacific sliding here. There's the Knife and Fork right there, and the high school, no president yet.
And Montpelier and the Boardwalk look like this.
That was Montpelier and the Boardwalk. You can see the Crescent. And you can see the homes, the way they lined up here. And this is the way the street end was. That's Montpelier Avenue looking towards the bay from the boardwalk.
Now, between Montpelier and Sovereign, that would be the location of the Strand Motel at one time. Would that be right?
Right, the Strand.
And now it is the Bowie Grand, which was formerly the Golden Nugget. That's Montpelier and the Boardwalk. To the right would be the theater of the Grand.
Depends on your age. This was miniature golf later on, because John's Motel went up on the corner there.
Okay, and cottages were the thing of the era in Atlantic City. There's a down beach.
Well, it's
Lower
not that
Chelsea
far
home.
down beach. It's
No.
about maybe Newton or Kingston Avenue. This later on wound up to be Hammett's home. That
Hello.
owned the Steel Pier. He lived there. I think the Berkeley or the Plaza went right over here.
And same kind of mode down the Ventnor.
It's down there a little further. You can see the beach, how they had like a seawall before the boardwalk got down there.
Hello. Now we're going to go to different things throughout the city that people may remember. We have the roofs of the Gramercy Park apartments at Main Avenue.
Main and Gramercy.
Morton Feldman used to live in
Morty
there as a
Feldman.
child, huh?
This is where they went up and just enjoyed sunsets and sunrises, mainly sunrises off of Main Avenue. And that's where that took place.
And the trolleys came up Main Avenue and down Atlantic. And that's why you have this photo.
There'll be a memory for people getting on the trolley.
Heading to Longport.
That's right. And I remember as a kid, when I was a child, I wore glasses as a 6-year-old, and these doors didn't have the rubber pads you have on them today, and that slammed my head in here. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
That's
And that's
pretty wild.
been a problem since '55. Here's a nice postcard of Atlantic Avenue in Lower Chelsea.
And it's deeper down. I think that's Atlantic Avenue in Ventnor,
Looking towards Atlantic.
looking towards Atlantic City.
Right. That's a nice
Anyone
one.
that drives Atlantic Avenue.
So now we're going to just jump into some things that people haven't seen. This is the corner of Virginia and Pacific. The, can't
Albemarle.
pronounce it, the Albemarle Hotel, Virginia Avenue.
You can note these cars. These cars are very old. They look like the 20s and the 30s here. And they may actually be a jitney, because the jitneys were those type of limousines.
It started out as a nickel ride.
Right. If you know Atlantic City, you would get off the jitney right here to go to the Steel Pier. And you'd walk up. You go by the, what was it, the Jewish Community Center, and the Clarendon, the Shoreham, the Morton,
There you go.
Jackson.
Same place, different
there
look.
it is. Some people may remember it at different stages that you see it here.
Well, Mrs. Grund sent us a letter and spoke to us on the phone that she lived across the street.
Right, she lived over here.
On the uptown side? Or
On the Atlantic Avenue side of
where
Pacific.
Jimmy's Junior Restaurant
Right.
is in the garden.
She
and all
lives
that.
right there.
And we'll go back down beach. There's the Children's Seashore Home,
Right.
just a little bit further back in Lower Chelsea.
Now, later on, they made this brick. The boardwalk came down that far again in later years. Then they made it brick as we knew it, and then they just tore it down 2 years ago.
It's a
And
vacant,
it's a vacant
lot.
lot now. The fire department would be over on the Atlantic Avenue corner there.
Well, we're going to go to the subject of jitneys. All those cars, like John said, may look like just plain automobiles, but that's the way the jitney started out
These
at
are
Park Place.
These are jitneys. And that's the way they waited right there at Boardwalk and Park Place, in front of the Brighton.
There is more going across the front of...
These here are jitneys. You know, parked here in Marlboro, Blenheim. Right now it's Bally.
Oh.
Bally's Park Place is right there now.
There they are now. Use
Right.
the pointer there and check the
Same
hoods of
shot.
these cars. Can you see the cars all lined up across here? All the automobiles?
They're all here. You can see all these automobiles here.
It's pretty good, huh?
Marlboro, Blenheim. Here's another shot of the jitneys waiting. See, this is from the roof of the first piece of the train more, looking down on the Brighton Casino. You drove in here, it was private. You got out and it was probably a casino in there, and then the jitneys waited for you outside.
There's a few jitneys there in that photograph, right? Here's a few more. Look at that.
There's a fleet. Most of these people would bring gamblers here. Gambling was always in Atlantic City. It just so happens that since 1976 it's legal, but it was always here.
The driveway. Now the driveway's open. There's cars all
Here's where they'd
outside
spin
there.
you in here and come around, drop you off here for the Brighton Casino. The Brighton Hotel was here, and the Claridge is there. Here's the Fountain of Light. Right now there's an amphitheater here and all, if you know where we're at. And the Valley Park Place is right there.
And there's no jitneys. Just a few jitneys there. But that's Park Place. Right there now is an amphitheater
Yes.
called Brighton Park.
This structure you see back here, I think, is where Thomas Edison came and experimented with rebarb and reinforced concrete to build this piece of the Marlboro Blenheim here.
Different photo, American flag, and a lot of postcards in the United States.
Here it was here.
Atlantic City.
This here walk that you see going back to the Blenheim, years later was there, but years later they moved it to the middle, and they brought it right to the middle of the Marlboro House.
No amphitheater, let alone that
The arc.
semi-sphere arc of lawn care that was in the center there.
Right.
And here's another photo of it not being there.
It's just beach sand.
Just beach sand and stuff.
You can see how the park has changed and how Indiana and the Boardwalk has changed and how Ohio Avenue has changed.
And further back than that, it was like this. There's some
Right.
horses there.
And I hope it's clear to people. This is the Indiana Avenue ramp. This is Boardwalk and Park Place. And this is, well, you can't see it,
That's
but
the Marlboro's long...
right, the walkway back to the Marlboro House in the Blenheim.
And here's how they made it beautiful.
There's when they finally got it up to
Finished
snuff.
the park up at the front end there.
Now these circles here was where gym was held for Central Junior High School or Atlantic City High School at the time.
Well, that's what we believe are the cards that we picked out that have jitneys in them, because that's a means of transportation. And now we're going to go to public buildings. And there is the firehouse at California and Atlantic Avenues. I think a lot of people would like that. You want to describe it as about 1904?
It's about 1904. You have the California Avenue and Atlantic Firehouse. Next door to local people is Gormley's Funeral Parlor, and that's still there, and so is this fire department. In the back was the Ambassador Garage where they trapped two of it. Legs Diamond or somebody?
Yeah.
They chased him around, and he got out of there and made a run for his life. But that's where that was, which later became the Housing Authority in the back.
The firehouses in Atlantic City are very old. There's one brand new one, and here's a monument that's still in the middle of the street, Albany Avenue and Ventnor Avenues of Donald Parkway.
If you look this way, you can see the second wing of the Ambassador is up and built. If you look around here, over to this side, you see the Masonic Temple. I worked in there a few years. I worked with Mrs. Moselle, Dave Moselle, and Bobby Moselle's mom. And we were in there for 2 years. The building was vacant, and we had to watch the building to make sure nobody ran away with the building. And now the police are in there. The orphans of Atlantic City, they're just thrown in there.
Well, when buildings do sit vacant, things do get stolen, as we have found out recently.
Well,
But is this a better look at this?
that's a better look at the Masonic Temple.
There's the Masonic Temple. City took it over, said it was going to be the police department. Didn't do too good.
Inconducive, not working. Never would have worked. They just did it to do it for some reason. But this is now the police department, and they park all on the side and bring everybody in the side door. But
So you worked in that building?
I worked in that building for 2 years to make sure nobody stole any of the walls or the doors.
Well, I worked in this building for 5, 6 years when it became the Division of Construction in the city of Atlantic City, and maybe 9 years.
This library was donated and built for the city of Atlantic City, for its people, by Andrew Carnegie Foundation, and he gave it to the city.
Well, his big thing was the 80-20. Don't steal the 80% for yourself. Just take 20% and put 80% back into your business, and you will have a business that operates correctly. And there is what Mr. Carnegie has donated to the city, which has now been let to the Atlantic Community College as a...
I think culinary arts is going to go in there or something like that.
Something's going to go in there related to education, because if they didn't have it related to education, it would be a violation of Andrew Carnegie's lease to the city that building was for that purpose only.
That's called a deed restriction, which they've broken at Brighton Park, you know. Nothing's supposed to be built there, but everything's there.
Yeah, the Leeds Park lease was that nothing should be built over Brighton Park.
Jonathan Pitney.
Jonathan Pitney, but they did build a people mover right down and over the park. That library is right next to this building. This is the new post office, which became actually the third
post office. I can tell you the post office is actually the first post office right in the building we're sitting in here doing this show. is where the first post office was, right across from the Morris Guards building here.
Where are we at? South New York Avenue?
South New York Avenue. This lot, which was a parking lot for many years after they tore down the old post office, this was the original site of the first post office in Atlantic City. Then they built it at Pennsylvania and Pacific Avenues, almost a similar building to this, while here, the site that you see on this postcard was Craig Hall, and it was a 7-story large hotel with beer gardens on the roofs, and then in a certain year, which I don't know, they rebuilt the new post office, the third post office, right here at Illinois and Pacific Avenue.
And that building there, see the red building behind there?
This one.
Still standing.
Right. Except they built a 150-yard handicap ramp that starts here and gets you to the door if you can get up there in a wheelchair. It's like it's like a marathon.
Well, if you remember, in 80, 89, 90 or so, we stood on the side of that door with petitions, collecting signatures and all, and that's a great place to stand with petitions and get signatures for anything that you may be doing.
We got 5,000 signatures in a month right at that door.
Right. We believe in freedom and liberty. There's the post office, a better shot, the inside shot.
The trees are finally growing up, but this is our post office to the present day right now, where Craig Hall used to sit.
Now, uptown, I don't know the exact location, may have been Virginia Avenue, but there's the Elks. That may be South Pennsylvania Avenue unit block.
It was the Lodge of the Elks.
Lodge building or
It
something
was a beautiful building. It was on South Pennsylvania Avenue, I think.
Public buildings, how about the Knights of Columbus Hotel at the corner of St. James and Pacific, is that correct?
That's right. This is St. James, and here is a Columbus Hotel. And here is a church that they turned into a nightclub and called it Little John's years later.
Wow.
That's Pacific and St. James.
And the YWCA, we also had a YMCA. I don't have a photo of that or a postcard of that, but here's the YWCA with the great public cafeteria that they had.
It was fabulous. You went in here, it was like a little Horn and Hardouts type operation right off Pacific Avenue. Big cafeteria here. Everybody would go in there and eat. It was really neat. You put the nickel in and open the door, and you had to get your pie or whatever it is out of the door.
Like a Horn and Hardouts.
Yeah, an automat. And then, what else happened here?
Well, when the Beatles were staying at the Lafayette across the street, we were sitting right...
We were sitting right here watching the Beatles come and go out of the Lafayette Hotel.
The girls were acting all goofy and all, and they said, well, why not for us? Why just the Beatles?
Well, this is Pacific and North Carolina, and the Beatles were there, and their girls stayed here all night, camped out on this lawn all night long, screaming and yelling, carrying on.
Camped out, wouldn't move.
And then the guy from Cape May's church bought it later, McIntyre.
Oh, yeah?
Then they tore it down years later. It was a beautiful building. If you look at the architecture and the way they built things, it was great.
There's trees, too. Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, an elephant.
There's the elephant. Now, this is when it was 2 blocks further east than it is now. When this deteriorated, they picked it up and moved it 2 blocks and built the Ocean Island House condominiums here. But this is 2 blocks more east than it is at its present location today.
I have a number of different shots and angles if you'd like to see them. This seems to be one of the oldest ones of it.
Right.
The elephant.
Right. You can see it here, and you see where the trunk goes down into this, like, supposedly a water drink for it. Well, now, it's really way over here by this building. They moved it down 2 blocks. This is the Elephant Hotel, and this is the way it appeared. And still today, you can, after they restored it, thanks to a lot of people in Margate that got up and did it.
Yeah, very good.
You went in the leg, and you went through here. It was a hotel, had 10 rooms, and you went up to the top, and they had a show for you, showing you about. It was for real estate, to build real estate.
Here's an old card on it. Before you see it, it says the old landmark. So it says Elephant Hotel, and it was called, what was Margate called?
South Atlantic City.
South Atlantic. There is the elephant in South Atlantic, which is really Margate today.
And I think the real name for an elephant is pachyderm. They used to call it the pachyderm, with the tusk and everything.
Different angle, better shot. See the people on the bottom down there?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Isn't that nice? I went there as a kid with my Aunt Thelma.
The joke when we were growing up was that the elephant had a pain in the rear, because there was a
window there, yeah.
There was a window there, and they said it had a pain in the rear. You were a pain in the rear.
It was small, but when you're in there, it was nice.
We have photographs of ourselves sitting up here with my aunts that were babysitting us at the time.
And, you know, circuses always came to Atlantic City, and I guess even as far as even the Taj Mahal has the Russian circus, they bathe the elephants
They
In
still
the
do
ocean.
this. They still bring the elephants to the water between Garden Pier and Steel Pier. And here they are doing it way back in the 1910s.
I caught that Russian circus. It was good. And remember we used to go over to the Brigantine area
Right.
and see all those as kids. The circuses would come to town. Now we're going to go to the Fountain of Light that's in Park Place and the many different photos you see of it.
Right here is the Mercer Hospital, which later became the, I forgot, the Burgundy and the Chatham, right?
Yes.
Crossing the Claridge. Here's the Claridge. This was the Mercer Hospital, which later became the Chatham and the Burgundy. Central's back here on Park Place. You can see it.
Yes.
But this light, this fountain was put in here for the, in 1929, I think it was, for the 50th anniversary of the light bulb,
Well,
invented by Edison.
This is how you can talk about collecting postcards and how many different varieties you need to have. If you're going to have the photo, you have to have, the postcard, you have to have the different various postcards. Now, if you look at this one, I'll throw up a different one each time, and you can see how many postcards there were of the fountain and how different each one is.
And here's Indiana Avenue and the Boardwalk. This is the Brighton Casino building again.
Smorgasbord.
Now it's Smorgasbord or something like that. Now, right now, so you can catch up, you get on that walk monorail that brings you back to the People Mover, brings you back to the Sands. And people don't know, if you mention the Sands, they don't understand it. First it was the Brighton, again. Then they changed it into something else, and then it became the Sands. It's had 3 names already.
Okay, there's a different look at that fountain at night. Very nice. Here's another different one. Different, right? Can you see that nice?
Yeah, the trees are growing this year.
Things are growing up. Here's a closer shot. Very nice. You like that? That's at night. A better, fatter shot. Looking good. Always towards the boardwalk, it seems. Look at the crowd. I don't know if you can see that there is a crowd on that boardwalk. I don't know if
You can see them up there. This is the Fountain of Light. It's still there.
Same exact photo, but a different look.
But recently, I don't know if this has ever been turned on. I don't think the light show's ever been turned on in
I'm
years.
not sure.
But there it is. It was called the Fountain of Light.
Isn't that
And
great?
to dedicate or commemorate the 50th anniversary of the electric light bulb, which really changed the world, to tell you the truth.
So from light, we'll go to night. There is night. Photographs.
Right, there's a white caps, a wave breaking, a hollow back snapping.
Got to go with some of these night shots.
No, that's not a
If
night
you're a
shot.
collector, I guess I'm into water. I thought I had night. Most of them are night shots, but if you have a little water in there, you collect them, you got to collect the different number of waves that you have.
There's
You
a
can't get
seagull
upset.
swooping down in there.
There's a boat out in there.
Now this here is what causes an undertow. You hear people talk about an undertow. That'll take you right out without you wanting to go out.
Same picture.
Same picture.
See what we have here. We have different night photographs. That's what it's about, night.
Right, this is looking towards Boardwalk and Park Place from the $1 Million Pier Net Hall, across the pier and right in from the Trainmore to the Madison, to the Brighton, to the Claridge, the Marlboro Blenheim, the Dennis, and the Shelburne.
To the $1 Million Pier.
There's $1 Million Pier at night from Indiana and the Boardwalk. There's Captain Young's home, out on the pier, Atlantic, #1 Atlantic Ocean.
Here's looking the other way.
Here's looking the other way.
That's early, too.
That's real early. You only got one piece of the Trainmore here. The back piece of it is still all wood. You can see a full moon over Atlantic City.
I think I showed this before, but that's a good one.
There it is.
Where's that uptown? That's like Maryland and up, isn't it? Where are we at there?
That's hard to figure
That's
out.
Garden Pier on the right, isn't it? Up there?
Yeah, that's way up. That is Garden Pier. So this would be
Okay.
around Virginia and the Boardwalk.
There's the Breakers and St. Charles
Yeah.
there a little bit.
Breakers and the 2 St. Charles Towers. That's up there around Maryland Avenue.
All right. Here's,
All this has been leveled
yeah.
back from 1964 on.
This might be Steeplechase's front here, if I'm right. Is that the Chalfont or?
Particularly, it looks like that for me. I can't study it today, but yeah, that looks like the Chalfont right here. And the steeplechase.
All right. Here's the Virginia Theater in a nice nighttime shot over here. He's pointed to Virginia
Here's the
Theater
Virginia
marquee.
Theater marquee right here, isn't it?
Rolling chairs. All
Rolling
go in the
chairs.
same direction, or what are they doing
No,
there?
they're coming down, and they're going back. Oh, no, they're coming down.
All right.
Both going west.
Keep to the right.
Yeah, they did it different. There's the Garden Pier.
Here's way uptown now, and nighttime, but early.
That's real early now, you're talking.
What is it?
I
like
couldn't
the
even tell you the
Globe
year.
Theater thing here?
That looks like that this would be the St. Charles here, and as a little cottage with its front lawn. This looks like the beginnings of the Nixon Theater and the boardwalk. That's wild, isn't it? Look at that. There's no, this has to be from the side of Heinz Pier. So this would be Massachusetts Avenue here.
In 1954, you had the Diamond Jubilee of Light celebrating Edison's,
Thomas Edison? No,
invention?
1954. This is the centennial.
Right.
And it's the Diamond Jubilee of Light, but it's Atlantic City Centennial in 1954, because Atlantic City was incorporated in 1854.
100 years.
Right.
That's when all the removal or fires began. So this is uptown. I thought I'd show you this one. This is strange. I think that's South Carolina Avenue on the right.
Yes, this is the Princess Hotel. And everybody that grew up with us would remember that the Bluebird Bar was here and the Scranton was over here. And the Janickwitz had the South Carolina sub shop here. And this is the way that area looked at that time. Way back, you can see that they try to show you its significance of this hotel, which is enlarged on the postcard, to show you its positionings with the steeplechase and steel piers.
North Carolina, South Carolina Avenue, right?
Right.
Wow. Here's a picture. I think it's from Michigan.
Maybe
Looks like
right.
Michigan Avenue there on the left where the jewelry store used to be, Sagani or something like that. Looks like it. We got a little thrown off here today because they do look familiar sometimes when you look at them. Look at the different
Now
advertisement there.
this here appears to be Garden Pier.
All right.
This is Garden Pier right here.
What's the sign?
I can't read the sign without a
Noxzema?
Noxzema. So this would be, what? New Jersey, Connecticut, New Jersey, coming down.
All right, we'll run through these night photos and see there's the Calvert sign. A nice sign.
This is the front of the resorts, which is now Merv Griffin's place. And you see these here, these archways here. You get a perfect acoustical sound in there where you could whisper, but yet in someone's ear down the way it would come out as loud as if you yelled through a microphone.
Lighthouse during that 1854-1954 100th celebration.
The centennial celebration in the city of Atlantic City, showing the lighthouse, the convention hall, and the fountain of light.
Got a couple minutes to go and we'll be signing off. We'd like to see you again next Sunday, same time, same station. There's $1 Million Pier at night, all lit up. Here's in the back bay. Very nice photograph. We'll go back up to the Steeplechase Pier.
There's
Even better.
steeplechase at night, a little glary.
A little glary, but we'll tilt it forward here. We're going to be going off shortly here. We got 2.5 minutes to go. I want to show you these night photos. That's Virginia in the Boardwalk.
That is Virginia in the Boardwalk. It looks like it's in the middle of a winter.
Here's Garden Pier at night. Here's the Boardwalk at night with a beautiful sign. Beautiful neon sign in the rain.
Does it show up, you think?
In a way, it's
The Boardwalk is wet. Look at that.
And again, at night of the
Garden
Pier, Keith Theater. Wonderful, beautiful shots. Here's the classic shot of the city for nighttime. Same photo.
Yeah, but what's the
being
difference
seen
there?
too
Did you
well.
see what the difference was there? What's the difference?
What's the difference where?
You can get a date by knowing what's not in the picture.
They're all in there.
It's all in there, all right.
All right, there's that one. That's the same old photo. Here's a night shot of the Ambassador, which people sometimes like. So we're done the nighttime stuff.
Until next time.
Well, here's another nighttime. We got a minute.
Oh.
We'd like to let the people know that we really enjoy doing this show, and we're going to keep doing it.
Did you ever notice how great the beach was when there were no jetties? And everywhere they put a jetty, we wind up with no beach. So I think they were wrong. But you notice that's under construction.
I did notice that. Okay.
All right.
We got another half-hour show in, and we appreciate you tuning in. And hello. And we appreciate it. We come to you each and every Sunday, same time, same station, with the Postcard Show, Atlantic City, New Jersey. John's taking a picture of the monitor. We hope to see you all again. Tell your friends, tune in, get the tapes to the people that need them. Let them see history in the making.
Right, tape it. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time.
New York has its ladies, San Francisco Bay. Paris has its tower, London its queen. The town I was born in might change from old to new. That's something I must tell you. I've got sand in my shoes. I'll never leave Atlantic City. I'll never go too far away. I'll never leave Atlantic City. On the boardwalk, the song, people come every day, take in the salt air, walk on its beaches, might ride in rolling chairs. When they look at the brand new, think of the old days, things they used to do. Atlantic City, my hometown, I won't forget Atlantic City. I'll never leave and go too far.